Chapter 5. The Beginning of New Life. Cave Johnson's death cast a long shadow over Aperture Science. The mad genius, with his outlandish experiments and reckless disregard for safety, was gone. Carolyn found herself thrust into a leadership role she never desired, yet she couldn't ignore the grim reality. Aperture was on the verge of collapse. The sprawling underground testing facilities, a testament to Johnson's chaotic vision, were flooded with abandoned projects and safety violations. Exhausted and desperate for change, Carolyn made a radical decision. Cave's underground complex would be sealed, a relic of a bygone era. Instead, a new facility emerged on top of it, cleaner, safer, and redesigned with a newfound scientific restraint. From the ashes of the old, the newly branded Aperture Laboratories and Computer-Aided Enrichment Center began a new era for the company. Carolyn, with her unwavering logic and focus, became its architect. The most unique aspect of this new construction was its integration with GLaDOS, the genetic lifeform and disk operating system. The facility wasn't simply built around GLaDOS, it was built with her. GLaDOS wasn't merely a single machine, but a network woven into the very structure of Aperture. Towering servers hummed with a life of their own, their tendrils reaching into every control panel and automated system. Laboratories, testing chambers, even the ventilation system, all could be manipulated through GLaDOS's computer interface. This was control on a scale never seen before, promising efficiency and oversight unlike anything the scientific world had known. Initially, Carolyn found comfort in GLaDOS's capabilities. While a marvel of engineering, at its core GLaDOS was currently an advanced control panel, allowing Carolyn to streamline processes and manage the dwindling resources of Aperture, rocketing production and time management through the roof. With this newfound system, the company had a fighting chance at surviving, yet a nagging doubt persisted. Its sheer power. The way GLaDOS seemed to effortlessly extend its influence across every corner of the facility sent a subtle shiver down her spine. Meanwhile, the research into robotic sentience continued apace. The once crude AI of the sleek military turrets was replaced with a rudimentary form of human consciousness, and with this new level of intelligence, they finally began to function as intended. This breakthrough proved pivotal to their success. However, the engineers hadn't quite cracked the code of morality. Power surged through their circuits, the potential for destruction a constant temptation. While these turrets lacked the human aversion to killing, their twisted understanding of self-preservation held them back from outright mayhem. The turrets were marvels of technology, undeniably lethal, but now capable of the restraint that had once seemed impossible. However, a different experiment, seemingly a whimsical detour, yielded surprising results. The companion cube, identical in appearance to the standard metal storage cubes, but emblazoned with a glowing pink heart, was originally intended as a simple stress reliever for test subjects. But the engineers, emboldened by their earlier breakthrough, experimented with imbuing a rudimentary form of emotion inside of it. The results were subtle, but undeniable. The cubes, once inert, seemed to respond to touch, emitting a faint hum of what could be interpreted as contentment. Lab workers swore they felt a slight resistance when holding a companion cube, almost as if the cube itself was reluctant to be separated from them. These breakthroughs were the missing piece. If they could instill a basic emotion within such a simple object, perhaps a more sophisticated machine could house a truly complex artificial intelligence. Thus began the development of the Aperture Science artificial personality constructs, or personality cores for short. These spherical machines were designed to be vessels for intelligence. Each core programmed with a distinct emotional range: joy, curiosity, anger. The engineers aimed to create a spectrum of personalities that could be integrated into robots, potentially offering a solution to the violent tendencies of the turrets. And in time, these cores could theoretically house an entire human consciousness. Henry, a determined engineer with a perpetual glint in his eye, was at the forefront of this research. He believed that emotions, even negative ones, were a cornerstone of intelligence. Fear could lead to caution, anger to determination. The key, he argued, was to create a balance, a nuanced AI that could not only think, but also feel. Doug Ratman found himself drawn, moth-like, to the cluttered lab where Henry toiled away. Henry, the robotics prodigy with his wide eyes and disarming smile, was enthralled by the promise of sentience. but Ratman could only see the abyss in those blinking LEDs. They'd share coffee breaks, the bitter brew cutting through the tang of solder, and the sterile scent of clean rooms. Henry's enthusiasm was infectious, his descriptions of emotional cores and thinking robots a whirl of optimism. Ratman would nod, the movements sharp and jerky, and offer the occasional murmur of support. But later, alone with the shadows in his too quiet mind, the words curdled into fear. Though an incredible genius, Doug struggled with schizophrenia. Antipsychotics were his lifeline. They dulled the voices. Not enough, never enough. But they brought the world into a semblance of focus, and in that focus, he saw what others didn't. He knew the chaos of his own thoughts, the way emotions could surge and consume. These scientists blithely built minds without understanding the treacherous territory they dared to explore. Sometimes, lured by a strange combination of boredom and twisted curiosity, he'd linger in Henry's lab after his shift ended. He'd watch as his friend, focused and almost oblivious to Ratman's presence, breathed life into gleaming orbs. They spoke of anger cores, curiosity cores, and all Ratman could envision was the storm within himself given form, unrestrained by flesh and blood, unchecked by the messy tangle of his own humanity. What horrors could these machines unleash?
Dangerous,
He'd mutter into the emptiness, his voice a threadbare whisper.
They don't understand. Can't control it.
Promising results bloomed like unexpected desert flowers. Despite Doug's skepticism about the company's recent direction, progress, once a sluggish stream, now surged forward. Hesitant investors, their eyes widening at the transformation under Carolyn's leadership, eagerly opened their wallets. Government grants, once mere mirages, simmered back into reality. New technology crackled with potential, sparking patents that fueled an inferno of innovation even Doug couldn't dismiss. Products flowed to both commercial and military buyers, the lifeblood of Aperture coursing through new veins. Cave's death lingered like a distant storm, yet it had inadvertently steered Aperture towards a dazzling, undeniable success. Carolyn ensured the company thrived under a new, brighter light. But Cave's ultimate, relentless vision, woven into the company's very foundation, would endure.
Brain mapping. Artificial intelligence. We should have been working on it 30 years ago. I will say this, and I'm going to say it on tape so everybody hears it 100 times a day. If I die before you people can pour me into a computer, I want Carolyn to run this place. Now she'll argue. She'll say she can't. She's modest like that, but you make her. Hell, put her in my computer. I don't care. All right, you can head on back to your desk.